Regular meeting of the Eastpointe City Council on Tuesday, July 5th, 2016. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know.
Would you like to say the invocation? You can stay right there.
We ask the great Father of all Scouts to be with us as we convene this meeting tonight. We offer our congratulations to Alex. We ask his good Father's blessing on the business that is conducted tonight, that it be fair and honest. Again, may the great spirit of all Scouts be with us. Amen.
And council, let's go down here where we can present the, and then Joe, if you'd like to come. Mr. Duchesne, would you like to describe the project if Mr. Marucci has not?
The project consisted of replacement of the display holders for the public information boards on Kelly. The project involved, again, because of age and wear and tear, the replacement of those and the painting and preparation of them. I don't think we can show it too well to the, we have some pictures of it, so the one of them, and that was completed with putting them back into service for some time in the future. And again, it's physically restoring them and painting them and doing that as part of his project. And what I like too, he was on time and under budget. Can't beat that.
So I'm going to read the letter of recognition first, and then I'd like to also have the Scout leader come and talk about how many Eagle Scout projects he's done with his troop for the city of Eastpointe. So this reads, whereas Alexander Fazette has advanced through the ranks of Scout, Tenderfoot, Second Class, First Class, Star in Life, and whereas Alexander Fazette has earned the required merit badges that reflect life skills and include citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, citizenship in the world, personal management, first aid, camping, and one of 3 physical fitness categories. And whereas Alexander Fazette has completed his Eagle Scout project, which was the total replacement of the 5 old Kelly Road sign frames, including solar-powered lights, that the many community groups use to advertise their events in the city. And now, therefore, the Eastpointe City Council extends a hearty congratulations to Alexander Fazette for attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Very proud. I'd like you to say a few words.
Well, I just had to say thank you for this award, and I couldn't have done it all by myself if it wasn't for the help of my troop and my friends and my family. And without all the money that I raised just to do this, I wouldn't have been able to do this. And I always pass by those old signs, and it made me think about what I could do if I could replace them, and that's exactly what I did. And lo and behold, turned out pretty good. And also, I do have one little thing to say. With the leftover money that I have with my when I raised my money, I do have a check for the city of Eastpointe for $100 that I want to donate for the maintenance of the signs.
maybe, just maybe, Mr. and Mrs. Fazette, I think this is our 5th Eagle Scout Award in as many years. And you have 2 sons now that are Eagle Scouts. Right.
He did the library.
Project 2 or 3 years ago, correct? Would you like to say anything about what it's like to be an Eagle Scout mother or father?
Put me on the spot here.
I know, but I know you
I
can
just want to
handle
say
it.
that I'm very proud of my son, actually both of my sons. He worked real hard at it, sitting down with him and figuring everything out in the project, and him having to get in front of the fundraising and having to talk and stuff like that. It's just a father's pride of seeing his son grow up and being able to do that is great.
That's great. You're the troop leader.
No, actually, it is, but I'll fit in for this one real quick.
He was, Mr. Alter is, we come from another troop, and Mr. Alter at that particular time started out with Alex as a scoutmaster. We moved to another troop, and I would like to have Mr. Alter say a few words, because he has been with Alex ever since he started with the scout program, and when he moved up from Cub Scouts.
Well, first of all, Alex, congratulations. Thank you. Because it's an exemplary effort that you put through. And speaking to that, typically an Eagle project for a scout is really a culmination of everything that they've done up to that point. It's an opportunity, again, for them to utilize all the skill sets that they've learned going through the different merit badges, rank advancements. And it really is the pivotal barometer of how they did as a scout. It takes in project management, it takes in fundraising, they have to have people skills, be able to promote their project. It entails organizing members of the troop, members of his family, and actually being a project manager for his project. They say the best Eagle projects are the ones where you could tell the Eagle Scout he's sitting down while everybody around him's working.
Is that true?
But actually, and again, you know, Troop 1407 and then 1489, we've had probably 7 Eagle Scouts that I've seen through. And it's a crowning achievement, this project, and just the ability for them to give back to their community, and that's really what it is. It's a community project. It's something that is not going to serve the scout other than recognition for his Eagle, but it serves the community that he resides in, and so much more. Where are you going to see that in a grassroots level other than in scouting? This is something that they learn from Cubbies all the way through Boy Scouts, and what is it, 2 or 3% that make it to Eagle Scout are a crowning achievement, and I'll tell you, it really is their effort and the troop leadership's effort. So congratulations again. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And also to the troop, because I know that if he got his Eagle Scout, all of you were actually very, very involved in the project. Thank you all.
I'd just like to say a couple quick words. I'm a ex-Boy Scout. I was a Life Scout. 50 years ago, trying to get a Eagle badge was a huge accomplishment. I had 32 merit badges and not one of the citizenship merit badges. Trying to get those was like trying to run for governor or something. It was extremely difficult back then, but I have to still look forward to all the things that I learned from being a Boy Scout. I can still tie about 6 knots behind my back. I probably still know about 30 that I can do. You give me a hunk of rope, I can tie up anything in just about as quick as can be. And I've taught classes to people on how to tie ropes. And it's just something that's just been an asset that I use all the time. But the whole thing about getting to the Eagle Scout level is just a tremendous goal that you were able to accomplish, and my hat's off to you.
Put that little library together. Oh, I think we're good. I appreciate it. Everyone, I think, has said everything I could possibly think of, and your voice out here. So,
And as you notice, we're lacking 2 signatures. Our other 2 council people, one is in a national park in Montana, the other one's in a national park in, I don't know, halfway between Colorado and Wyoming. But we'll get their signatures, and then Linda will mail this to you. So congratulations again to everybody. Yes, so we'll give you the money. That was very nice.
that's okay.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilperson DeMonico,
Here.
Councilperson Marion,
Here.
Mayor Pixley.
Here. With that, we'll move into the first hearing of the public. Does anyone wish to be heard tonight? Mr. Creech.
Madam Mayor, Council, congratulations, Eagle Scout. I was a Boy Scout, but I didn't make it too far. I had other things on my mind, like girls and congratulations. Yeah, Madam Mayor, I'd say after I was here the last time, we discussed a few things. And going to the Freedom of Information Act, after 2 weeks the last time, I received no information whatsoever. So I assume after talking to a few people, if it's on paper, I would have had it by now, so apparently it's not on paper. I don't think we have any blueprints of the Spindler parking lot. I don't think we have any blueprints of the walk at Spindler. I don't think we have any paperwork, period. So the questions I'm going to ask tonight, you're probably not going to like them, and I don't know if anybody's going to like them. I want some accountability and some credibility to find out who made all those decisions over there. If there's no paperwork, somebody had to make the thickness, where it's going to go, what's underneath it, where it starts, where it stops. Because right now, if you go over there and look, there's 27 cracks in the curbing. There's sidewalk that's cracked that needs replacing. The walk itself is completely, there's places in it's completely blowing apart. And with no paperwork, I would like to know what kind of a warranty we have, or if we have anything on that parking lot. Because we're still fighting right now about Spindler. I was over there today too. I'm just going to say, I cannot believe a city and a council of this size, after reading this, like it says right here, after the paperwork that I received, when it says that this will be added to the change order to the current Stevens Road contract. Is the parking lot and the walk going under the same Stevens contract? Is that the only paperwork we have? Excuse me, Madam Mayor, I can see right now, I am questioning this whole project, period. Somewhere along the line, last year in the fall or something, Cardi after the Stevens Road contract was in effect, this had to be as a change order, and there's so many things about this. Like I said, this says this is a...
You have 30 seconds.
This says this is a design, build, maintenance activity. I don't know what that is, but it seems to me if it's a design build, there should be some paperwork on these projects. I just want somebody held accountable and responsible.
Thank you, Mr. Creech.
And some answers. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to be heard? Sir, in the back? Please state your name when you come forward.
Hi, Jeff George in Eastpointe. I'm here to talk about the fireworks situation in the city. Basically, what's been going on is it's been going on for a month before the allotted time frame. I've had every night around 10 o'clock in the Lincoln Beechwood area going off nightly, and I called probably 5 or 6 times to dispatch, let them know what's going on. It continues. It still continues. I understand now we're within those couple days that they could use them, but it's been going on for over 2 weeks. There's several streets last night I noticed were blocked off in Eastpointe because people were blowing off fireworks in the street next to people's vehicles. And I can't imagine that that's legal. I checked on Beechwood today because a lot of it was that I saw, a lot of it was between Nels and 9 Mile on Beechwood. And they left all their fireworks stuff out there, garbage strewn all over the street. Nobody bothered to clean it, but we had the street sweepers out there doing that. I don't think that's their job. Several times I called the police dispatch again about the fireworks over there, and I understand they're probably swamped with it. I do understand that. I respect the job they do. I implore people to turn people in the city. I'm tired of this kind of stuff going on year in, year out. I don't have a problem with fireworks. Do it when it's supposed to be legal. It's out of control. It's unregulated, and nobody seems to care. The state of Michigan just allows it to go on. And, every year you got people getting their hands blown off and people's property getting damaged and everything else. It's a waste of time. And I implore our city leaders to contact the state lawmakers about this, and which I will be doing also. It's wrong. I don't see why we should get our rights violated so people can run roughshod through here for, a month in the summer every year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure we'll be addressing your questions. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Please, in the back.
Good evening. My name is Don Wera, Eastpointe. I have a letter of concern about a stop sign on Flower Avenue and Bell, right by the Memorial Park there. My girlfriend and the neighbors have called in several times, and we don't seem to get the right police action that is appropriate for that corner. We have 11 kids in 5 houses in that corner, and it's getting to the point where somebody's going to get hurt or killed. We have people coming out of the houses screaming at these people that go through the stop signs, and we've already had an incident where a gentleman got out of a pickup truck, and there was 7 or 8 other people in that corner that saw that happen, and he got back in his truck and left, because if he would have made a few more moves, something would have happened. There was a little boy that almost ran into the street right in front of that guy. So we do have a letter of concern with the people that signed it. I'd like to get it into the right hands if I could tonight, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Does anyone else wish to be heard at this time? Anyone else wish to be heard?
That's close.
Seeing none, the first hearing of the public is closed. Move on to approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of June 21st, 2016.
Madam Mayor, I'll motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 21st, 2016.
Support.
Moved and support. Any corrections? Please call the roll.
Councilperson DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilperson Marion?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes. We have no scheduled hearings, no unfinished business. We have reports from administration. We'll start with Mr. Duchesne.
The comment regarding fireworks that I want to make tonight is that the progression under the statute changes. The actual impact progression that has occurred in the community, as well as many other communities, is wholly negative. I really can't find a good positive thing to say. I have some pictures. I think perhaps Mr. George spoke about what was left in the street. I have numerous pictures and intend to bill as best we can the property owners that are responsible for that. Now, that being said, much like the policing of fireworks, they are misdemeanors committed in the presence of a police officer is one thing. If they do not witness the action and who sets off the fireworks, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to police and enforce. What we saw this holiday season are virtually the canisters in crates, almost as in a commercial grade level firework display set up, either on edge of the sidewalk or out in the roadway, and then unfortunately it was said, left in the streets. In one case, an entire almost lane was filled with debris, and I'm not just talking about, sparkler debris or small casing debris. I'm talking about the actual cases that are purchased at about $80 a pop that's set down, and then you light them in sequence, and they are left as real debris, as in the full canisters, the cases, and the crates that they're set in. We've said it here a number of times, and I see all through Macomb County, I think most people in public service are coming to the same conclusions, that whatever the intention of the legislature was, giving them some consideration as it was passed, maybe there were good intentions, it has simply not worked. And it doesn't work, and it's not anti-celebration, it is extending now to aggravation of animals, neighbors, even a person who works here in the evenings. She was just telling me about having to race home, visiting a relative to race home to guard her house because there's so many pieces of shrapnel and parts left on her house and in her yard. She was concerned about protecting it versus creating a fire on her roof and things like that. I can't find a good way to make a case for public policy. Now, I know that council has taken the concerns and positions. It is a state law situation. We are left and rendered, much like many of the things the state of Michigan has done lately, somewhat powerless to act. But it is not, if we are a field test situation, it is not working well. It's not really working at all. And again, we are left with cleanup and enforcement in areas that we really have to go through a very elaborate process for enforcement on the property, and that materials and things in the street with nobody around when you find and discover it is difficult to even hold individual accountable during that time. So I have nothing good to report about fireworks, except there were to my knowledge, no injuries or property set on fire this year in the many days that people had to suffer with the fireworks and activities. I think there always has been fireworks. However, in the past, the restrictions did limit or isolate them into particular days, and enforcement was clearer. This changes in the law over the past few years has done nothing to improve the situation. I could report on other things regarding the state. Most importantly, I think, was we had taken a position to support Senate Bill 557, which would have eliminated the state highway department's ability to withdraw street revenue funds from cities over 25,000 population whenever they deemed it appropriate to help fund state highway projects. And when I say state highways, I mean we are billed for a portion of improvements to 94 if there is work there that's eligible. Other cities who have 696 through them, whole sections of 94, 75, any of the other roadways that you see are right now responsible for paying a portion of the state projects. In the cases of Royal Oak and Madison Heights, they've said that the I-75 project will cost their local street funds used for maintenance of neighborhood streets by over $4 million. And frankly, they don't even generate that on an annual basis. So it makes for impossible situations. I'm very disappointed that the governor of the state of Michigan would veto an action that both houses of the legislature unanimously passed to correct that. And it is illogical, and it's definitely misguided, so. Other than that,
At
I have
the,
nothing further,
at the
Madam Mayor.
SEMCOG meeting I was at, the person from SEMCOG that is responsible for all the transportation, Carmen, came up to me and said, "Aren't you glad that both of them passed? Because now you're not going to have to pay for the reconstruction of Gratiot." And I said, "Gratiot isn't, I mean, it's not included." And he said, "Oh, yes, and they're going to be doing Gratiot next year."
Well, it was short-lived, he was correct. We should be glad, but we are not at this time unless they override the veto, so.
So I-94 is actually in St. Clair Shores.
Well, where it touches a portion of a city, it makes it eligible. It's a very small touch in a small section, but we have been, the city of Eastpointe has been billed before for a small portion.
We could donate it.
We'd be happy to give them property in exchange, right? We'll be glad to do that.
I'm sure they'd love it. All right, any questions for the city manager?
No.
All right, we don't have our finance director. He's on vacation as well, so
Yes.
are you reporting for him?
Oh, I couldn't possibly report for Randy, so.
Not even about the taxes that went out?
No, I don't have his tally up to snuff on that with his spreadsheet, so I'll let him have his big, when he returns, his big summary of returns and tax collected.
There have been a number of people that are asking about the assessment forms that have been put on the doors. Do you want to maybe address that?
Oh,
Or would you want to wait for Randy?
Well, we can do a little bit of both, but the assessing department is properly conducting a visitation of all properties. It's actually supposed to be about once every 5 years. Nobody gets around to it quite that often, but we have actually our assessing management company as field personnel, which are obligated to visit the property, and they are obligated then to report and correct any errors in the file or add any product, any visible building materials and things that are changed. And they then have to build that in and report that to the State Tax Commission. They are actively
So
doing
they're
that.
only actually looking at the external part of the house and then reporting, obviously, whether you have a garage and whether you have a house and basement, whatever, but they're not obligated to come into the house and review the bathrooms or anything else.
Nope, they're just
I
there
just
to
want to
verify.
clarify that because I
Right.
have a lot of people calling me and asking me about that. Because I don't want anybody coming in my house. And they're not, they're looking at the outside.
That's right, just
And-
verifying.
And the thing that was left on your door, you just have to verify how many bathrooms you have and
Right,
if you have a fireplace and all those good things.
that is correct, Madam Mayor.
All right, did you have a question relative to the finance? All right, let's move on to our attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Last Friday, Ms. Van Haren sent me an email requesting 4 show cause hearings for 4 dangerous building properties. I know that the council has scheduled 3 show cause hearings for the next meeting on July 19th. These 4 include 24624 Lambrick, 23716 Lexington, 23143 Rhine, and 21026 Universal. So we could either schedule it for the next council meeting and perhaps start a little earlier, or set it for a council meeting after that.
I think we should schedule it for the next meeting because any earlier, it's going to make it difficult for Cardy to get back.
Yeah, I'd have to
Okay.
see.
So that would be,
August 2nd? All right, I will make sure that the, no, is that primary?
Oh.
So when is it? So
Oh,
it's,
yeah,
the next meeting's gonna be the 9th?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a Monday? The 8th?
Does the next council
there a
meeting
meeting
fall on
on
a
a
Monday or a
Monday then?
Tuesday? Following Tuesday? Okay.
That would be, yeah.
So actually, the next available meeting would be August 9th, which is a Tuesday.
okay.
So I will make sure that the notices go out for that date. And council is in receipt of our monthly status report. I just wanted to touch on item B, which is the Colonial Dodge lawsuit. The defendant was ordered to pay the city's fees and costs. He did pay that, but in 3 installments, and I'm pleased to report that the first installment did clear, and I personally delivered that to Mr. Blum last week. So we just have 2 more to go. And that's all I had for this evening.
Any questions for Mr. Albright?
Thank you.
Okay, we have one item under new business, and that's the approval of the purchase of the tax reversion properties. Do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll motion to authorize administration to proceed with the purchase of the 2016 tax reversion properties within the city of Eastpointe from Macomb County in the amount of $246,526.73 pursuant to Public Act 206 of 1893, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents related to the acquisition of these properties.
We have support?
Support.
Please call the roll.
One quick question, though. There's about a half a dozen of them, and they don't have street addresses.
Right, vacant properties. So it's just, yeah, they have not been assigned a street address, or they're open lots, or.
Let's forward, I saw you didn't CC.
Yeah, I should have sent it
Just,
back around.
Okay.
Yeah, I have an email which addresses those lots are next to. Because I guess we just they don't have addresses.
They don't, they're assigned a Sidwell number as property identification, but they're not, if they're independent, they're not given a street address until building occurs on them.
Okay.
And Mr. Marucci makes a personal visit to all the properties, so we have, and he has done so, so we look at them, identify them, make sure they exist.
They're worth the amount we're paying.
Yes, the amount we're paying, that's correct.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilperson DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilperson Marion?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Next item is payroll and bills. Do we have a motion to pay the bills?
Madam Mayor, I'll motion to pay the bills in the amount of $1,892,979.93.
Support.
Okay, please call the roll.
Councilperson DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilperson Marion?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes. With that, move to the second hearing in the public. Does anyone wish to be heard at this time? Mr. Creech?
Madam Mayor, Council, Harvey Creech, resident. I know there's quite a few people, including myself, that come up here in front of the council many times and ask about either fence rows, bad fences, long grass, many, many things that the city doesn't need. We're for an eyesore itself. I'm here to ask the council itself, along with the attorney, it's time for us to get a designated time frame to get this stuff in action. I watch these houses being turned over, and I watch these vacant lots. I watch these vacant lots with grass get up to your knees. I watch these fence rolls that get terrible. I watch fences literally cave in. You drive down the street. I've had people come up here, and I've listened to people come up here, where I'm here or not, and they talk about this all the time. If we can't put it, I understand our court system, I understand our law. I understand our maybe if you want to call it jurisprudence or whatever it is, that we have to give it a time. But in all this time, all they're doing is jumping fences, jumping rocks, turning the dogs out no matter what it takes. They'll cut the front lawn, won't cut the back lawn. It's time for us to do something as residents of this city to get this straightened up. I'll gladly help. I guarantee you could talk to the rest of these residents. Maybe it's going to take community action. I don't know what it's going to take or something like that. I always, myself as a neighbor, I present myself to these people and ask them, can you please do something about this? A lot of them are renters. We have slumlords. We have slumlords one right after another. They don't care. When you have a 2-year process before you can go on the property and check and rest of the stuff, I say cut a lot of these things, bring it back to a year. Let's get somebody out there. We have ordinances, people. Like you said, we had 3,000 back ordinances getting straightened up for rentals. Well, let's get in there and do something about them and keep them straightened up. When you get a request, please go in there and give them a time frame. If it's a week or 2 weeks, that's it. Turn the city in, do something. I'm at the point anymore, we can't keep calling. You know, you do this, you do that. I listen to all these people. They've tried. They do everything they can to get their neighbor to cut their grass to the rest. They're tired of it. I'm tired of it. Please, let's do something about it. If you need some help, call on some of us. I guarantee you make a few phone calls, you can get some people to give you a hand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else wish to be heard? Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, the second hearing of the public is closed. We'll move to mayor and council reports. Let's start with Mr. DeMonico.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple quick comments. First, I was happy that we could support the East Detroit Public Schools with the press conference. Well, actually, both of these items I'm talking about, I was away at camp while they happened, but saw it in the newspaper. Very glad we could help out. Glad we were able to have the meeting with them, and hopefully that turns out well for the school district as well as it can. And then also, John, great work on the little library. I visited it when I got back in town. Looks great. I know you showed it to me when it was half done. It's it came quite a ways from then, so yeah, it looks really, really good. Appreciate that. And also then, I just want to say happy anniversary to my wife. Next week, it'll be 3 years.
Wow, already.
So, yeah,
Wow.
it's 3 quick years, I guess.
This doesn't seem that.
Watch yourself.
All right. Mr. Marion.
Well, to build on what Cardy said, with working with the Eastpointe Library on the Little Free Library contest that we developed and My Dog entered and submitted a proposal because we thought if they're going to put one of these over at this dog park that we've been working on, we wanted to have some input of what it was going to look like. So we put together a proposal that they accepted, and we went ahead and did it. Their concern at first, that from what we presented to them, is said, can you really do this? And we said, sure we can. And we were able to get together and do it. It took the whole group effort of the officers of My Dog. We spent a whole Sunday painting this thing alone. Took 5 people to get it painted. I got a big thank you going out to the Parks Department, to J.J. Mish, who helped me on getting it hauled from my house all the way up to the dog park, to Joe, Greg, and his crew. They were a huge benefit because I came down with a sliver from working on that, and I had to, like a nut, went to the doctors, and the next thing I know, I'm in there Monday morning having surgery, and I got my arm in a sling. Couldn't do a thing with my hand, so I was like really handicapped. They jumped in and helped out big time. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have got this accomplished. But again, a big thank you. If you haven't stopped by and seen it, check it out. Please do so. It's at Flower and 10 Mile next to the dog park. It's over by the maintenance entrance, so that if kids are over there looking at it, there shouldn't be an issue with dogs entering or exiting the dog park. And it's set back from the fence enough that it shouldn't be a deterrent if a dog runs up to see who's there. The next big thing going on at the dog park is July 16th, Saturday. We're putting together our gazebo that's going on the cement slab that's in there. So we're looking for some volunteers. If you got a cordless power drill, bring it. We got lots of screws to put in. It's in 3 huge boxes. We're hoping we can get it done in a day, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So, but that's the next big project we're working on there. The fireworks, the biggest thing I could tell you, it's not just us calling up our representatives saying, hey, this isn't working, change it. It's all of you. You need to write your congressman, your state representatives, your state senators, and tell them, change this law. It's that simple. You get enough of them writing in, calling them, they're going to pay attention to it. I guarantee it. I know John Churkin apparently was working on some legislation, at least backing off the number of days. I don't even know if that's a good trade-off. I think they need to just rethink the whole thing because it just isn't, it's not working for society, I don't think. They thought they were going to get revenue out of the proceeds from all these sales, and I don't think they're even getting that because it's a cash business. They're not getting it reported properly. there's no way to track it. I mean, the whole thing's a shell game. And they need to just change the law. Let's go back to where we were. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I can attest to the time and effort that Mr. Marion put into the cute little library. That is just absolutely fantastic. And I also saw him when he first came back to the house, because he lives across the street from me. And he was bandaged from here to here. And I said, good God, what happened? And you can see today, it's just this.
Yeah, just 8 stitches for 3 splinters.
But anyway, the little library is so cute. It's really cute, and you need to be commended tremendously for all the work that my dog has done over there in that corner. Likewise, I've had a lot of complaints about people that are leaving their dogs unleashed in our parks or on our public property. Dogs need to be leashed and under the control of their owner. The only place in this city that a dog can go without a leash or without the control of their owner is my dog. And even there, they have to be under the control of their owner. So if you want your dog to go without a leash, then you need to check with Rare and get the dog involved over at My Dog. I would like to comment on fireworks. This has been, I think the initial legislation was 2010 or 11, and this has been a disaster ever since it was written. We've tried as a council to send resolutions up to our legislators. We've talked to our legislators until we're blue in the face. But I think it's really going to take a lot of the residents to contact your legislators. They're all on vacation right now, of course, so they probably didn't see any of the fireworks that went on last night. But it was really insane. I'm concerned especially about those fire lanterns in the city of Sterling Heights. Put a ban on the fire lanterns, and they're getting sued because they put the ban on, because it violates the state law. But I saw a number of those going in the sky last night, and I was really concerned that one of those was gonna land on the roof of somebody's house, and that person would never know it. So they're very, very frightening, as well as you see all kinds of injuries. I had a very sad note, I think, from a woman whose husband was military and served with multiple deployments to combat areas. And if you have no idea what it's like to be in a combat area and then come back and face all of these fireworks that went on and on and on last night, it's so damaging to the equilibrium of the dogs more than anything else. Pets almost have to go down to the basement where be totally under control. But we also have to remember that we have a lot of veterans in our area that are really, really sensitive to the noise that are so similar to a combat area. And I think that's all. Our next meeting, our council people will be back.
I just want to comment on the statistic I didn't throw in, where 20 full dump truck loads of material were picked up by Public Works. 20 truckloads of
In the
material
city?
left behind in the city today.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not, we're not over exaggerating a small thing. It is a problem.
It just has to be curtailed in some way, shape, or form. And with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Support?
Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Marion?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes. Look who's coming down the hall.